I myself am a 2-year heart recipient, and I'll talk about my journey in a minute, but first I want to ask, how many of you are registered organ donors? So for those who aren't, registered organ donor, yeah. So for those of you who aren't, we're gonna present you with a few facts and figures, and just talk a little bit about my story and Christine's story, and hopefully you will reconsider why you haven't checked that box at the DMV. So before we start, right now there are 113,000 people waiting on the organ list. 3,000 in Tennessee alone. 82% need a kidney. On average, 20 people die every day waiting on an organ. 20 people. One person can save up to 8 lives, and one person can impact up to 50 lives when you consider tissue and organ donation for yourself. There's someone new added to the list every 10 minutes. That's a lot of people who need a lot of help, and all of you can help make those numbers come down. I like to, we speak a lot at high schools, and I like to say to them, when we were growing up, when y'all were younger, that we didn't have seat belts in our car, right?
Right.
And so now it's the law. So our kids nowadays, they don't think twice about getting in their car and buckling that seat belt. So it's our hope that eventually down the road, when our kids are going in, our grandkids, to get their driver's license, they automatically will check yes to be an organ donor. There's no expense to your family if you're an organ donor. Your bodies aren't disfigured in any way that would prevent you from having an open casket. It's acceptable to all religions. There's really no solid reason why we all shouldn't be organ donors. So for me, at the young age of 34 and 2 weeks after having my daughter, I had a massive heart attack. This was in 2000. They weren't sure I was going to make it, actually, and so I pulled through that, and I kind of held my own for a while. I think because I was so young and healthy, my body was able to compensate for the damage to my heart. And then in 2007, my heart function dropped too low, and so that I had an implantable defibrillator put in. I was still okay. You know, I would have little decline along the way, but nothing really major. I was working. 2009, I had to stop working because it was too strenuous and I was going into a dangerous heart rhythm. In 2014, I was sitting in my best friend's office waiting to go to lunch with her, and I woke up to her standing over me asking me if I had passed out. What had actually happened was I had gone into VFib, and my heart had stopped and my defibrillator shocked it back. So that began my road to decline with my heart disease. 2015 it happened again. 2016 I was in the hospital for a routine defibrillator battery change. I'm sure those who have pacemakers know it's pretty much the same procedure. Because my heart was so fragile at that point, I went into cardiac arrest 20 times. They had to do chest compressions for about 7 minutes. Just because my heart was from the damage for so long and it was so enlarged, they couldn't find a good spot to put the leads into. So we got through that. March of 2016, I went into VFib sitting in my son's 17-year-old son's car. 2 weeks later, I went into VFib in the middle of the night. So this time, I live in Jackson. This time they rushed me to Vanderbilt to see a ventricular specialist. And he told us, I fixed one, I can't fix the other. It's too erratic. We're going to try all these meds. And so, sure enough, 3 months later in July, it happened again, standing in the kitchen talking to my husband. The thing for me was I had been sick for so long, I was hyper vigilant about my body. So if anything was off, I was too aware. It almost had me in a constant state of anxiety, to be honest. And so I could always tell the second my heart was going out. So except for that first time, I was always able to get myself on the floor to keep any damage from me. Because literally, you know, basically what happens with my rhythm, it would go, for me, I was kind of low in the 50s. It would go from 50 to about 320 that quick. And it would shock me, and the whole process was 30 seconds. But you know, without a defibrillator, it doesn't, you're not, what does the doctor said? It's a heart rhythm that's not compatible with life. So, July it happened, they sent me back to Vanderbilt and decided to do an experimental procedure called a sympathectomy, which is where they go in and they deflate your lungs and they clip your parasympathetic nerves that run through here, you know, the fight or flight. And so, because they're thinking we can cut those and maybe her heart won't ever get that signal to speed up like it does. So that was in July. I was great until Christmas Eve of 2016. And I went into VFib cooking cookies, baking cookies in my kitchen. And so I went into the hospital on Christmas Eve, and they said, by this time I had been listed for transplant about 20 days. They officially listed me on December 4th. And they said, you know, when in Christmas Eve they hospitalized me, obviously, it happened again Christmas Day, and at that point they moved me up to transplant ICU where I would have to stay until I received my heart, which meant, you know, you have a pulmonary line. You're basically tethered to your bed. You can't go, you know, they would have to come in and unhook everything from the wall just to walk me around the floor because, you know, they obviously don't want you laying without getting any kind of exercise. So for me, I remember very distinctly waking up one morning. I'd been in the hospital about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and I woke up one morning and my heart had been, for about a week and a half, it was just completely erratic. You know, it would be 50 and it would go up to 130 and drop to 30. I mean, it was just, and it was exhausting. And I remember waking up that Wednesday morning and looking out the window and just having a heart-to-heart with God, you know, saying, I don't know what's going to happen, but I need you to know I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of trying to be okay. I'm just tired. And about 2 hours later, my transplant coordinator walked in, normal rounds, and said, how are you? And I said, I'm okay, Hannah. And she said, good, we think we have a heart for you, and it looks good. And I didn't have my glasses on yet, I didn't have my contacts in, and so I was just looking at her, trying to process what I was hearing. You know how when you're in your car and you're lost, you're going to turn down the radio so you can concentrate, right? As if it has anything to do with it. And so I said, I need you to hold on 1 second. So I put my glasses on so I could focus in on her face. And I said, okay, I need you to say that to me one more time. And she said, we have a heart and it looks really good. Your surgery's scheduled for 6 o'clock tonight. And so January 11th of 2017, barely a month after I was listed for transplant, I received my gift. And it's been life-changing for me. My daughter today is 19. She never has ever had a healthy mother until these last 2 years. We never really ran together. I couldn't do roller coasters with her. I always had this feeling of guilt because I felt she has 2 older brothers, and I felt as if she was cheated out of a whole mother. You know, and not only that, when you're living with a chronic disease, there's a lot of anxiety that comes. When you're 34 and you're completely healthy and then you're struck down like that, nothing is really certain anymore. And so this gift, this heart, has given her her mom. It's given me a life. I watched her graduate high school. I am watching her thrive at MTSU. I'm going Monday to see her in her first singing gig at Puckett's, 6:30 if y'all want to go. It's just, my life is so full. I have no words. It's just full. I'm trying to live my life, not sweating the small stuff. Like, I put white on, I thought, I look springy, but I don't care. I had a transplant. I'm gonna live my life. It's like I just, So I found out in April, my donor his name is Lou. He was 28 at the time of his death. He had a head injury. His mother wrote me to say that he loved everybody, and everybody loved him. He was a hunter. He was an outdoorsy kind of guy. 1 month before he lost his life, he called her to say he had given his life over to Jesus. And so, for me, that young guy lost his life needlessly. So I'm doing everything I can in my power to live for both of us. It's the least I can do. The more I can get out and talk to people and share my story and encourage people to be donors, it's all for him. Because he did it. I don't know if he checked yes on his license or if his parents are the ones who said yes. But either way, he will live on through me. And I will never let anyone forget the gift, the sacrifice that his family made. It's just, it's amazing. It's a miracle. You hear us talk and you see recipients, and it's so much focus is on us, but the truth is, the donors are the heroes. Their families, they're the heroes. We have very similar anniversary dates. It's the day he died and the day that I got my life back, and they are sad on this day, and my whole family rejoices on this day. And we will forever be connected, our family and theirs. And I don't know if we'll ever meet them, but we're connected and we love them just like they were part of our family, because they gave us something that without them, I wouldn't be standing talking to you today, without a doubt, certain. So I hope those of you who are donors, I hope you won't think that you're too old or too sick, or anything else would prevent you from signing up. You can sign up at the DMV with your license. We have a campaign that Be the Selfie Box. It's BeTheGiftToday.com. You can go there, have someone help you if you don't have internet. You can sign up that way. You can go to donatelifetn.org, sign up that way. If you go online to sign up, you can actually check which organs you want to donate. If you don't want, let's say you don't want your heart, or you don't want to be a skin or tissue, you can check, exactly what you want to do. And I hope you will consider doing it. I promise you won't regret it. And your family will have you living on, and have people they can reach out to know what a great thing you did.